Howdy once again, it's tubalcain, your YouTube shop teacher, and welcome to episode number 37 of my This and That series. And I've got several freebies to show you here, as well as some updates and other interesting things, I hope. Schar's company up in St. Charles, Illinois is now one of my sponsors and sent me several great things here. Let's start by looking at this Aventnar calipers. It's a 6-incher, but they make them in about 3 different sizes. And this particular model is a nice one. He gave me an extra battery too. They're lithium batteries, the real thing, not those cheap things that sometimes come with tools. But there it is, and it'll go off automatically. You know, this one, I have to laugh, will read fractions. Read in fractions as well as millimeters and inches. This one is waterproof. That is, you can use it around coolant and no damage to it, so it doesn't have one of those ports in the top that'll hook up to your computer, but I'd never use one of those anyway. But it is said that these can be used underwater to a depth of 1 meter. So they got a complete line, and I think you'll see that Adam Booth is using this line of calipers. So thank you up there at Schar's, Richard. In addition, where is it here? This is one of these double-ended tool holders that'll fit in my Vise size Loris. I love these reversible ones. Came with 2 inserts as well, still in packing grease. And Richard sent along samples. There's 2 in each container here, of different inserts that will fit in that holder that are for different metals, stainless, alloy steel, and I don't know what all. I have to study some of the data on that. So thank you, Schar's. Take a look at their catalog, and they have a great website as well. In the last video I talked about these little electrical clips, and I didn't know the name, and I don't know how many people gave me the correct answer, but they're called Fenstock clips. I remember them from a little train set that the neighbor had. I never actually had my own train. In the last episode of this series, I posed a question of when did the Vise grip company in Nebraska change the design so that they had the quick release here. Now here's a article here, oh, I don't know, that's 1957, and they are showing it without the quick release, or 1953. This is 1953. So I posed the question, when did they adopt that? I was surprised how many people had the answer and sent me patent pictures and everything else, but 1957 is when they came out with this. 1957. Before that, look at how narrow the jaws were. So there were other differences in the design. Look up some of their patents. You'll find that very interesting. Now, thank you to all of you that gave me the correct date. There were quite a few of you. A couple updates on these drill press vices, and I made a long video on that, and it was pretty popular. But on this particular model, remember I talked about these 2 extra holes here on the bottom and what they were for. This is Miller's Falls, but this little ad here is, I don't know what year, from Poplar. Oh, May 53. And there's a Stanley, and it had a separate base that allowed you to swivel it, and the base was screwed to the bench. Now, although that's a Stanley, and this is a Miller's Falls, the design was similar, and that's what those screw holes were for. Also, I had talked about the fact that I like a vise that I can turn upside down on the bandsaw without it tilting, because you see that the height right here is different from this height. Well, I ran into this again in a Popular Science, and I thought it's kind of pathetic really, but they're showing that you can put 2 pegs in there and then turn your vise upside down. Quite pathetic, but that's why I try to design around that. And in the future videos that I do, as I make some of these little Peterson product vices, you'll see that the height here is exactly the same as the height here, so it could be turned upside down. And that's something that I developed way back in the early 70s. I saw a need for it, but you don't see that too often in commercially made vices. Many people watched me make the Casting Specialties struck vise, and remember, I compared it to this Dunlap, that they are virtually identical. This is the die-cast zinc one. But since I made that video, I found these two jaws out in the garage. I'm surprised I hadn't thrown them out, but evidently they came with this because I found a picture of this in the old Sears catalog. This was a cast iron jaw that could be used in there as such with all the different V's in there. This is unmachined, it's rather crude, but it would be very effective. Similarly, this jaw is a pivoting jaw that would fit in like that, exactly like this one. I thought that was neat, and I discovered that much later. You know, I probably had this one for quite a while, and then I laid these on the bench. I always wondered what they were for. Now I have an apology here. Remember in a previous video I said you can still get these castings. There's an outfit out in Ohio called O'Keefe Casting Company. Well, several people contacted them, and they are not there anymore. Somebody, I think, even sent a check, and I hope they bounced it and you didn't lose any money on that. But so I was disappointed, but the website is still up and running. I just checked 7 minutes ago. While I'm still on the subject of vices, some of you watched this video, and I remember I machined this entirely from memory, although some of it is obvious. But after that, I was sent the complete instructions and blueprints for that, and I'm terribly sorry whoever sent this to me. I lost your name. I just spent 5 minutes looking for it. I could not find it. But there are the original blueprints from PDF files that he sent me. And they were originally printed in a nice blue ink, but measured drawings that a student could follow, that made sense for a young man to follow. And there were directions for all the parts. And then what I didn't know is that there was a base for this that allowed it to tilt, and this isn't a good picture at all, but you can see it was a tilting base. And in another video, which will be called What Was Casting Specialties, I'll show you the catalog. Another man by the name of Glenn sent me one of their complete catalogs from, I think the 70s, so I can go through all of that. So watch for that video in the future. I have a lot of videos that aren't released that are done, and I just issue them a few at a time each week. So watch for that. But I thought this was so awesome that that many years ago, and it was probably Clarence Struck himself that drew these, and he always included an isometric so that a young student could understand what it looked like. You know what, these show up at every auction. I ended up with another one. I almost let it lay or gave it away there, but now I got something for reference to show you. You recall I smashed one of these years and years ago. Some people got mad, but these aren't very good. But at a recent auction, I ran into originals instruction sheet mounted on cardboard so it could be hung up. And there it is. And someone asked me to show this, so if you can read that and pause your video. It's very poor condition, but there are the instructions. I tried to scan this and they came out worse looking than what you see here. Recently, I acquired through a trade, through a swap, this Lyle drill grinder, and this will appear in many videos, including the actual swap. That'll be shown if it hasn't already been released. But I'm going to paint it and make a guard, and there's probably going to be about 8 or 10 videos on that, including instructions on how to use it, although that's been pretty well covered by Adam. But you'll be seeing a lot more of this Lyle drill grinder. Check out this website. They also offer castings. I'm hesitant to show that to you, but not vise castings, various cast iron castings. Now, Ted Burgess sent me some wonderful tools here a few weeks back, and let's go through those. And thank you, Ted. Quite a few items in here. First of all, and Ted is from the great state of California, Moreno Valley. California, sounds like they raise vegetables or something there. But look at these nice boring bars here. And this is Valinite. That is a major brand that would be very expensive. There's a little bit smaller one. There are no inserts for this. I hope I have some. But he sent 2 packages of inserts that'll fit the larger one. And you know how much these inserts cost. And those are also Valinite. At least one of them is. This is like an indicall. And this goes around the Bridgeport spindle, and you can hold your indicator for sweeping or whatever you need to do. So it'll go around the nose without taking the tool out. You've seen these, so that's a nice tool. And that's by MHC. They do have a website and a catalog. Check them out. And then also, he sent this item, and I looked it up, and it turns out it was sold by Grizzly originally, and it appears to be virtually brand new, although I see some tool marks on there. But this is a threading tool, 60-degree threading tool. There's the number. I haven't used it yet, but sooner or later you'll see me using that. And it came with 5, how do you open this, of the cutters, and I think these are high-speed steel. I'm not real sure. So there's no need to grind tools anymore for threading. Thank you, Ted, also called Edward. Appreciate the tools. Here's a box recently received from Clark Christensen, and he's out in California. Thank you, Clark. And he told me he was going to send me these, and it's a set of number stamps in the 3/32 size, American made. There's the maker. And you know, one thing I like about these, I've never seen a set of these before that had the letter so easy to read. And of course, if you face that toward you, you knew that you didn't have it upside down. Look at how nicely those are made. All in very good condition, none missing, and then also a set of the numbers. Also with the number in white. 3/32. So thank you, Clark. Those will get some good use in a wooden box, not plastic. Smells good too. There's the date. February 1959 someone bought these. In my garage I have piles and piles of old magazines, Popular Mechanics, Mechanics Illustrated. There's a really old one. And so on. I like to look through these. There's an engine. And there are plans and ideas, and I derive much inspiration from these old smellers. But I also wanted to tell you, like I told you in other videos, that all of the Popular Mechanics and Popular Science are available on Google Books for free. But there's nothing like holding an old smeller. Some of these I have to go out in the yard to read because they are so musty smelling. Here's a little engine that my brother made, steam engine. He likes to make these engines, but he never gets beyond the planning stage. Usually made out of plastic and just held together with pins, but it runs great. It's got a flywheel that was laser cut by a local machinist out there, or a welding shop, and it runs pretty well. I think just on my bad breath. So, I have a lot more things to talk about and show, but we're running out of time here, and some of these I'll hold for next month. And there's some tools also from Banggood, but I think I'm going to hold that over. So, thank you for watching. Watch my hundreds of other videos, and I'll see you next time. This is Tubalcain saying so long for now.